So I'm going to ask you some questions maybe the group might want to know. So how are you enjoying retirement? We'll go with that one first.
I'm enjoying it. It's a little change of pace for me. It's a little bit slower, but definitely not as sore anymore.
Surgery went well then? Recovery's good?
Everything's been great. And, I didn't want it to end last year the way it did, so that's why I came into camp and was trained and did everything that was, fully expected and wanted to play this year. But just the way things worked out, just the decision that I ended up making was for the best for myself and my family. But I'm enjoying it. It took a little bit of an adjustment period and change of pace and whatnot, but so far so good.
Well, you've earned it.
Well, everything comes to an end sooner or later, and but I'm glad that I'm still able to be part of the organization and with the scouting, and it's still keeping me busy. But at the same time, I get to kind of make my own schedule, work my own schedule, so I can be around when I need to.
So you have to go on the road as much either, be more time with your family, right?
Yes and no. I mean, when I take a lot of time where I can be home, then I got to kind of make up for it too. So it's a little give and take, but. For the holidays, which, when you're a professional athlete and your sport falls through Christmas and Thanksgiving and New Year's seasons, you don't get a lot of time and you miss a lot of the Christmas parties or whatever may be going on. So I definitely was able to partake in that and be around for Christmas things, whether it was my daughter's school or family things or whatever it was. So it was a little different going through that this year, but it was enjoyable.
This is kind of an off-the-wall question. Explain to the average Joe, what's it like just to lift it up for the first time?
Oh man, I mean I don't know. I don't know if I would put it on the same level as like your firstborn child. But it's from a sport side of it. It kind of it's just especially when it's the sport of choice that you've always like for me that I've always. I mean I love all sports or most sports, but hockey was always number one for me, and I followed it all my entire life, and I always watched the Stanley Cup final or playoffs, and always saw who won and whatnot. As a kid playing, whether it's street hockey or just ice hockey with your buddies, or actually playing competitive. Your goal is, or my goal was to always get to this level and win the Stanley Cup. And when you're young, you don't really put it in perspective as far as being realistic about it, but it's just a dream, and to be able to have that dream come true was, that first one, obviously, against the Flyers was, I think for me, for being my first one, then on top of it, the drought that the Wings had had, the winning cups, it was just, everything just coming together, it was phenomenal, and it was just, I don't know, you can't really put it into words. It was just a great experience and something that I'll never forget.
Have you done anything crazy with it?
No, I didn't do anything too crazy. We just partied and had fun.
You didn't drive it down the street and say,
no, for me, every time we, fortunately 4 times, but every time we won it,
did it wind up in a pool or anything?
No, I didn't want to be the one to break the cup or do something good that was, yeah. So it was always for me just about letting as many people see this as possibly could, and I did some charity work with it as far as trying to raise some money for a good cause. Tried to take it to the hospital, to the children's wards, especially in my hometown when I took it back there. But it was all about, for me, just to let as many people see it and get their picture with it, or just touch it, or take a sip of, depending on age, beer or pop, champagne, whatever. But it's just enjoy it and have fun with it. That's, for me, that's all I ever wanted to do with it when I had it. Was just have fun with it and let people enjoy it.
So, I think I know everything about the Wings, and I think I know everything about hockey. So when I'm watching the game, I'm sitting there and I'm like, "You ref, or what are you doing, or why?" But what's it like for you to watch the Wings?
Well, that's common that blame the refs on something.
Oh, they deserve it.
Absolutely.
More often than
not. It's.
For you to sit here and watch the Wings play, do you mean that you definitely know more than I do?
I would say
you take a different stance than I would.
I don't, jump out of my chair or anything like that, but I definitely am cheering the guys on. I find at times, watching, I'll kind of, especially when Ozzy was going for his farm.
Oh, yes.
I was supposed to actually go watch the game when he played Dallas and work it kind of and do my job. But I took it on my schedule and went down and watched it as a fan. And I thought he had it, you know, and obviously he scored the late goal and then won it in overtime. But yeah, I was definitely a fan at that time. I was kind of upset, and I was really pushing and pulling for him. But you know, yeah, you get caught up in it. And I think as the season progresses and absolutely into the playoffs, I'll find that I'll get maybe a little more caught up into things than that, because I think the guys have a great opportunity of going far in the playoffs once they get all healthy again.
Oh, we thought that at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, so I try to keep it even keel as a player at times too, but definitely I can see how people can get you know, roused by whether it's a referee or just the way the play is going and things like that.
You should watch a game with me. So I live in Arizona, and some live in Canada. I only go see a game with the Wings now, because they're obviously Wings fans, but you know, they're happy to see him come and happy to go out to the arena.
Yeah.
It's always nice as a Wings fan to hear somebody hear the "Let's Go Red Wings" chant in their arena.
When I was at Columbus in November, I thought I was at the jump.
Yeah, no,
it's louder.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, I played in Edmonton before I came here, and we were on the tail end at a home arena where there was a lot of Toronto and Montreal in particular, where it was probably more fans for them than it was for us in our own arena. And I'll tell you, from as the home team, that's not a good feeling. But yeah, we've, you know, especially in like Phoenix's games, Atlanta, we obviously don't go to Atlanta very often, but we go there, there's a lot of Red Wings fans, and so there's a lot, whether they're transplants or whether they're just Red Wing fans for whatever reason.
Probably come from Florida because it's so close.
Yeah, maybe. So I don't know, but I'll tell you. I mean, I think you'd be hard pressed to find another team in the NHL that has more fans other than their own city.
Do you have a favorite memory?
There's too many, really.
Anything that stands out?
I mean, I could say there's. I mean, there's a lot of firsts for me. Like, there's your first NHL game. For me, my first NHL game, I was fortunate to score my first NHL goal. So that was, you know, a double bonus kind of thing. But if you had to pick one, I mean, winning the Stanley Cup. You know, it's like
First, second,
you know, to be, well, you know, everyone asks or has asked or been asked a bunch of times, like, which one is the. I mean, probably the first one, but each one really was different. You know, the second one obviously was Vladdy. You know, the third one was they call, everyone calls it the All-Star team, or whatever you want to call it, because we had Holly and we had Luke, and then, you know, in 08 was where, you know, with the salary cap that had come in, everyone says that the Wings aren't going to be able to be the way they were previous to the salary, you know, and we proved them all wrong about that. So, I mean, everyone was really different and special in its own way, but if you had to really pick one, you know, the first one's always the best.
Give us a feel for what it's like in the locker room, given all the injuries right now. I know what it's like for a fan. We're trying to plug along with the team. We're trying to stay positive. We're trying to stay upbeat. And the fact that we're second in the league right now in points, given the fact that, you know, half of our team is down, what's it like in the locker room?
Oh, the guys are great, and that's one of the best things and great things about this team or this organization over the last bunch of years is that there's great leadership. They still have, you know, exceptional amount of skill, probably as much as most other teams that are 100% healthy. So, you know, so. And that's a product of winning, a product of leadership, you know, of guys that have been there and have won and done certain things. So
we'll get them in the second period.
Yeah, it's a lot of things that come together. But I mean, you got guys like seeing Abby on TV now. You know, he's a guy that's been there now for a couple of years, and he's had guys to, you know, I wouldn't say mentor, but for lack of a better word, and you learn how to be a professional on a day in and day out basis, and it shows, because like you said, we've had so many injuries, but we're still right near the top of our conference and in the league. So it's yeah, it's a lot of hard work, but you know, when you do have injuries, it absolutely does give guys an opportunity to step up and show what they have and get a little bit more ice time.
Well, what a testament to the Griffins, to the scouting for the Wings.
I had nothing to do with that, so I can't
segue. As I said, you know, to be able to pull people from the Griffins, to bring them up and play with such confidence. I will be honest, as a Wings fan, I was kind of mad and a little miffed when we got rid of, you know, Leno and Kopecky and me.
Yeah, and you know, it's, you know, Michi's down in Grand Rapids, and he's kind of right now a casualty of the salary cap, unfortunately, and that's just the way the business side of the game works. But you know, sometimes, you know, Leno was here and it wasn't going great, and sometimes the guy just needs a change of venue, and and it happens. You know, for me in Edmonton, I probably wouldn't have played near as long as if I would never have gotten traded. And coming here, somehow things worked out, and you know, things happen for a reason, and you know, we're happy for guys like for Billy and guys like Thomas Kopetsky who left and went to Chicago, and he's doing good there.
So phenomenal there.
Yeah, so it's you know, unfortunately you can't keep everyone. And that's just the nature of the beast. But when guys do move on, you wish them.
I've noticed I've been fortunate to be a fan for 30 years. I really don't care about any other sports; it don't matter to me. I'm a one-sided thing. I've noticed that some players, unfortunately, haven't been able to see McDonald shine as we'd like, obviously with the injury. But I've seen that some players have come in with such great skill, and then they kind of get a little diminished because we have so much star power and depth on the team. Do you guys notice that in the
I wouldn't say you notice it, but I think when you get some of these guys that have had, you know, and that's the thing, they've had to be the key or marquee player on their team, and then they come here and they realize they can just be, you know, just go about their business and play, be comfortable, and sometimes maybe they don't produce or they don't play maybe as well as they would have liked or people thought they would have, because I think it's a little bit of a transition from that standpoint too. There's not as much there's pressure on you to win, there's pressure to win on a nightly basis, but the pressure isn't directly on your shoulders, and I think sometimes from a mental standpoint it takes that person a little bit of an adjustment period, because they're not, you know, getting beat down in the media the next day after a loss, because there's so much, you know, within the team that, you know, it's never one guy's fault, but I'm just saying, like, in certain markets and whatnot, there are guys that they get picked on a daily basis, and mostly it's the key players.
Well, I mean, there was also the player, not the player, Stewart, when he came on about 3 years back. I was thinking, what are they doing? Why are they bringing him in? I watched his playing in his transition, and it seemed at the time like,
him to block shots.
you know,
60 shots.
But I'm saying back 3 years ago, I was watching his playing style. Going, what are they doing? But 3 years later, I'm just watching him evolve into the player he is, and I don't want to see him without.
Iron Man.
Stu is a warrior.
45 games up until he
No, Stu's
broke his jaw.
He's totally different aspects from a guy like Nick Lidstrom, but he's hard to replace what he brings to the table. So, you know, and that's just another aspect when we get healthy guys like him. It's not just about bringing goals back in or whatever, but you get a guy like Stewie that, you know, he puts a few points up here and there, but all the other things that he does physically and blocking shots and penalty killing and all that stuff is stuff that you can't teach to certain players, you know, because knowing how much it hurts to get hit sometimes or whatnot, and he's willing to do it on a nightly basis.
And go back after he took staples in his head.
Yeah, so
poor guy's been getting beat up.
yeah, so hopefully for Stewie, this is the end of it for him, and he's gonna be when he comes back, he'll be able to finish out and have a good healthy run.
No, he doesn't.
I know it's the end of it for all of the
Well,
Raiders.
yeah, you don't,
Yes,
unfortunately,
I had
our
enough
sport
injuries.
injuries happen more often than not, but it's all about minimizing them. And unfortunately, it's like the last 2 years we've had our major, you know, times of the season where